Now, I had already shown you what the canvas and the UI would look like. We are basically going to build that. I am going to build it now incrementally, and I remember what I said in the beginning. I recommend you to first watch this entire course without riding along. Just try to understand what I'm doing without any interruptions. And then on a second time, only then you should follow along. I will make sure to include the Unity packages after the end of every video so that you can, if you don't want to do this dirty work, just import the package and you can continue along from that next video. Now, I will spend some time building the Unity project. I might be silent, but if there's anything interesting that you should know, I will let you know. So, of course, we're going to start with a canvas. It creates an event system. That's great. Now, I am running this on a full HD screen. And I already know it's going to cause me some problems if I keep these at the default settings. So what I usually do is UI scale mode scale with screen size. And then I type in 1920 1080, and I need to increase this, and you can do some math here. ×2, hit tab, ×2. Now I've found that this, when you build the game, this gives a good resolution that doesn't mess up your screen, but you can change this to whatever you like. Maybe you want to use a different setting, but this is for this basic course, this is fine. Now, let's see. Let's hit Control S to save the scene, because sometimes Unity really does like crashing on us. Let's see. So the canvas. I had shown you we're going to make a authentication, a selection, and battle screen. So let's first populate this with let me check. Well, actually, let me call this auth. Then I would like things to be clean. So let me add a panel. That looks big, actually. Oh no, that actually fits. Okay. Now hit save again, just in case. I want to call this, give it a name. Of course, we're going to use a TextMesh Pro variant. Okay. So import TMP Essentials. Unity, I remember, had a built-in text component, which was garbage. Now they bought, I think, TextMesh Pro, which is decades ahead of their internal text solution. So import these two. This might take some time. I will pause the video here. All right. We have imported that. We have a text. Let's see. What does it say? Let's call this auth so we know what we're looking at. Let's increase the font size. Ooh. Press T and then increase this rect transform. Nice. Now we have an indication of what the authentication will look like. Let's just hit Control D a couple times. Now I'll call this the select for select screen, and I'll call this the battle for battle screen. We are going to be alternating between these three UIs. Well, you can already imagine when we authenticate and register and log in successfully, the select screen will pop up, and once we find a battle, the battle screen will pop up. Now let me change this. So let's call it select, and I'll call this battle. Let me move it a bit around. Press W to pop up these axes. Okay. Now I can close this for now, so uncheck this, uncheck that. And we're going to be, look, this is going to be very simple. On this panel, we will, let me check, UI, we're now going to make the register and login. Let's create an empty object, call this, let's give it a hierarchy, and then here will be everything registration related. For logging in, we are going to make two input fields. Input field, TextMesh Pro input field, nice, very nice. Let's call it a username. Let me log in. What does it say? Enter text. We can just press R and then scale it. Actually, why am I even explaining the Unity part this in depth? I do expect you to already be a beginner to intermediate, where the real deal will come when we make the online backend part. And as I said, yeah, like I expect you to already know a good amount of Unity, but we will go more in depth for you in the backend part because I'm going to expect you to be basically a beginner in making servers. Now, this is going to be the username. Well, there's also going to be an indicator, so username title, type in username, and then slide that up. Okay, that's nice. What does it look like? Ugh. Let's duplicate this, and we will call this password. That's password. Then we will call this password title. Password. Now, do not forget, this is a TextMesh Pro input field. The TextMesh Pro input field, we have to give it a type password. So, for example, if I now do this, let's run it. I type something in, you can still read it. And we want to use the stars, the asterisks, so it doesn't show it's here. So password, and now it will not show up. Hit save just in case. We're going to be adding a button in the login. UI button TextMesh Pro. Button, just call it login, and then give it the name login. And scale it up. Hit R, scale it up, 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 up. Ooh, no, do not scale that up. Scale the actual button up. Sorry about that. Login, let's place it here. Now, this is the login part. The registration part, all we're going to do is, actually, let's delete register, click on login, Control D that, press W, and then slide it to the right. We will now call this register. Username, password, slide a password up a bit, duplicate that, and let's call it email, because when registering, of course, Strapi wants you to have an email. Password, let's call it email here, email title, email, and the login button should be register button, register here. Okay, so don't forget to save this again, Control S. Now we have a very basic login screen. Again, this is not going to be a fancy game. This is just going to be the proof of concept of a client-server authoritative game. Now let's go ahead and create the select screen. So auth, we can close that. Select screen. So let's open that up, select. We can actually remove this panel. I would like to have this nice background. Actually, let me change the color of this camera background. I like it to be a bit more blue sky. This is nice. Okay. A little bit darker. Yeah, all right. Select, text to select. Let's move that a bit up. Let's go to the scene. Actually, let me drag this game window here so I know what I'm doing. So the select screen, after you log in, it will show your stats, so your user profile information, and it will show the roster of the available characters. Now, in a complex game, you would have locked and unlocked characters, missions that you need to progress in order to unlock characters. We're just going to assume that we already have all characters. Let's see. Let's make a panel again, because I know I will display the characters in the panel. So hit T. Actually, don't do that here. Hit the T here. drag this loop down. All right. Let's make it like almost half the screen. Of course, we will have a button that will say search. Actually, let me can't see it. Button. Let's call it the search button. So after you have selected search game, after you have selected your character you want to play with, you hit the search button. Now press R, increase it. Not again. Increase the size of the button instead. That's a very big button, very clear. And let's make another panel where we will order our user information. So where is the panel? There it is. Hit T again and just put it in the upper left corner. Now, of course, inside of that panel, we will have many text mesh pros. Let's see. Let's call it a username. Here will be the username. Increase the font size. Hit T to increase this size. Now, we will also have your experience value. So let's call it, this will be the actual value that will be shown. But then, so let's see, let's 1, 2, 3. But then next to it, we will put the abbreviation of experience, which is XP. So that will be the text XP. So it will say something, something XP. That's nice. And then we will have just duplicate this, put this here, and then do that again, put that here to the left, and again, and do that to the right. Now, you can already notice wins, losses, and the divider. Again, wins, wins. Oh, that's not good. Let's do this. What am I doing? Wins, which will be here. The divider will be here. And the amount of losses will be here. So this is just a basic template of what it will look like. Again, very ugly. We don't care about the fanciness of the UI. We care about the online game actually working. Now, also, when you click on a character, it will also need to show the character you've chosen. And we will show that with an ID instead. So move that somewhere up here. Make it pretty big, actually. Oh, ID of, I don't know, 2. So let me do this too. Just put it in ID equals. That's fine. So ID indicator and ID this. So that's fine. All right. Hit save. So what will happen here is we have a panel that is this. We also have a panel here. Let's call this the character roster, because here will be all the character rosters. Now, Unity itself has a grid system. Now, think of games like Street Fighter or Tekken or League of Legends. They show these square boxes with a character face on it in a grid system. We're going to do the exact same thing. Let's see. Now, Unity has a built-in system for this. You click on this mother component, so the parent component. It's called the grid layout. Let's see, grid layout group. Now, everything you put as a child will be laid out in a grid. So let's just make a fancy, okay, let's just put an image, test, and then click on character roster, cell size 100 by 100. Is it? As you can see, some values are driven by the grid layout group. The grid layout is now determining the size of this square. So if I now do duplicate again, Control D, look at this. Now I can go to the character roster, cell size, actually the spacing on the x-axis. As you can see, look at what's happening. But our cell sizes will be squares. So big squares. So let's do 500 by 500. Now we can remove more than half of them, delete. And then, yeah, this is fine actually. You can imagine the character faces that I showed before in these squares, and we're going to have to transform them into a prefab, but we will do that later. So this is fine. We can keep it like this, and we can now continue on to the battle screen. Let's close this, go to the battle screen. Okay, let's, let me think. So this text, we can actually do my turn, the turn indicator whose turn it is. The panel is not necessary. We can actually, the panel I can use to show, just like the character roster, the amount of skills the skills you have available. So we can do this. This will be the skills roster. Oh, skills roster. Now we will also be making, of course, the images for the characters you've chosen. Remember, the images are going to be square, so width going to be 500, tab 500. Press W, I'm going to move that here. Let's see, let's call this character left. And now hit Control D, drag this there, call that character right, character right. Now, of course, our characters will have a health bar and a mana bar. Let's see. I think I can make a fillable image. Let's see. Image health. Let's put that here. Can I? Ah, I think I will need a sprite for that to work. Can we just use a mock sprite? UI sprite. There we go. Now I have this available, filled, perfect. Radial, no, it's going to be horizontal. Actually, what's going on here? Why is this? Oh, that's not good. Is there something else we can use? Input field. Okay, we will just use the input field. Well, you could make your own, so because now the input field background is shared, and what if you ever changed this? It would change also your health bar. But for simplicity's sake, now health is usually red. We can place that somewhere. What is the middle of my screen, actually? Oh, I think that's fine. Health will be, let me put it at 1200. Actually, I like it more. That looks better. Place it a bit to the left. Now, call it health left, Control D. Actually, no, don't. Do Control Z. Image type sliced. It needs to be filled. Ah, it's not an input field. So what's going on here? Background. Filled. UI mask. UI sprite. Okay, guess I'm going to have to make my own. Just, let's see, create 2D sprites. Square. Ape mana. No, I think I should be able to, able to just drag and drop this here, right? There we go. Okay, now it's filled. Fill method horizontal, fill origin left. No, this needs to be right. So as you can see, oh, I'm taking damage. Oh, I'm taking a hit. Oh, I'm dead. So this is a good correction. Now, if you duplicate this, we're gonna place that one here. Health right, but this time it should be on the left, right? All right. Now we can duplicate the health left. Place it a bit lower. Change the color to blue, because typical blue is, of course, mana. Drag this to the top so the health is overlapping it. Well, you don't need to do that, actually. You can just decrease the size. Let's not be lazy. This will be mana left. And then do the same thing here for mana right. Oh, I want to use the same color, so copy the hexadecimal, paste that here, press W, drag it down, press T again, and do this. Nice, mana right. All right, hit the save button. So this will be our battle screen. You will see your chosen character here. Actually, I have a very nice background I've generated with Midjourney. Let me copy that real quick. I wonder if I can just drag it. Will that work? Nice, that worked. So I just want to use a nice background. Yeah, I think I should just be able to overlap an image. Width, height, I think it's supposed to be one. No. Times 2? Yes. Times 2. All right. Now the image will be dragged all at the top, so it's behind everything. And then I should be able to use this. Boom, there we go. Okay, that's a cool image. Nice background environment image. Now we have the skills roster. So each character will have multiple skills. In this case, I'm just going to keep it simple. I will showcase 3 skills, but only one skill. We will code just one mechanic for one skill, and the rest you can do on your own. Let's see. In the end, these are all going to be prefabs anyway. Let me check. So I wanted to skip this, but now that we're in Unity anyway, let's just do that. So skills roster, again, this will have a grid layout group. Amazing, nice. Let's make an empty object, create empty. So this will be a skill. The size of that thing, so each cell size. So a skill will also be a square, but let's give it quickly an image. I want to visualize what's going on. HP mana. So this is 500 by 500, which is nice. Let's duplicate a couple times. Give it a padding space so we can see clear. I want to center this. How can I center this? Padding left. Ah, there we go. Okay. Now, a skill is not only going to be the image, it's also going to be the cooldown indicator, the mana indicator, and the description. So let's make that too. So there will be another panel, description panel. Let me move that down a bit, but I would like to actually move it down a little bit more. That's nice. Now this will have a text. This skill will deal 15 magic damage. This is just some placeholder text. This is not what it really will do. Just place that here, press T and fill it up here. What is it going to look like actually? Let's give it a bigger font. Text black. Okay, that's fine. Now the skill itself will also have indicators. I want to give it another image. I want to give it a change the color to mana cost bluish. Let's give it a lighter color. But I want it to be round. Oh, perfect. Knob. Thank you, Knob. Okay. So this will be the mana indicator, or just let's call it mana cost. That mana cost will have some text. Let's give it a Mach 20. And now we're going to have to move it in place a little bit. Actually, let's put it like this. Press T again. Do this. Increase the font size. Yeah. Black. Nice. Bold. Perfect. Now we can duplicate this thing. Duplicate it. Press W. Put it to the left. Let's give it a different color. Well, give it a name. Cooldown. Cooldown, and the text will be 3 for 3 turns, or 2. Let's say 3. This is just a placeholder. The color should be different though. Color should be a bit darker. Yeah, that's fine. So the skill will have a cooldown of 3, mana cost of 20, and this is what it will do. Well, this is not the real skill. We have yet to code it and give it our own values. And when the battle screen pops up, the skills will be populated with their correct values. Now, we are going to make this a prefab, but let's do that later. Let's just hit save. And let's see if we have missed something. Actually, let me check something real quick. Okay, so this is the battle screen. This is nice. Let's go back to the select screen. All right. Let's go back to the battle screen real quick. Did I mess this up or not? Health left, that's fine. Mana left, that's also fine. Health right, that's good. Mana right, that's also good. All right, this is fine. This is fine. Battle, let's go to the auth. Okay, great. Now, the next step is making this work step by step. So we are going to register, then log in, and then we will pick our character from the roster. We search for an opponent, our opponent will match 2, and the battle will start. Now, right now there is nothing left to do in Unity, I think. So actually, we have some things to do. So the next step is, let's just start coding the backend so we can have a successful registration and a login. For that, we are going to need Visual Studio Code. Now, let me search this up real quick. VS Code. Just Google for VS Code. Hit the first one. Now, this is my IDE of choice. I used to use Visual Studio, but I like things to start up fast, to be more lightweight, to be fast. So Visual Studio Code really is a very customizable. It's very good. It's a very good IDE. You can install a lot of extensions, customize so much. It's very lightweight, very smooth, and very good. Now, I'm going to assume you're on Windows. Of course, you can download it for Mac, Windows, and Linux. I already have it downloaded for Windows. Go ahead and download it and install it. And what we are going to do is, in the end, we're going to be opening 2 instances of VS Code. One for the front end, which is Unity, and one for the back end, which will include the NodeJS, Strapi. We were going to do all the Typescript code in there, Docker, Yarn, etc. Now, there is an issue. We have this amazing game development engine called Unity, but Unity has issues with VS Code. Namely, if you start up VS Code while opening Unity's scripts, sometimes it messes up the IntelliSense. The IntelliSense is the thing like, hey, this dot, and it should give me game object or transform or get component. That doesn't work most of the time. So sometimes for me it works and sometimes it doesn't. I will show you the steps to make it work. There are some steps we have to do. If after all those steps it doesn't work, please let me know if you see an error. I will try to figure it out with you. I'll include it as a comment for others to help. Or just, Google is your best friend. You'll be able to fix that. But first, now just download Windows, VS Code for Windows, set it up, and I will start from there in the next video.